President Muhammadu Buhari commissioned the Kaduna Inland Dry Ports, KIDP, in 2017, it was the achievement of a long-standing dream to bring shipping services closer to the hinterlands. Being a test case of sorts, with each passing year, Nigerian Shippers Council has ensured that KIDP ups its game. For instance, rail services to KIDP commenced in 2019, and all efforts are being made to regularize this service that is a direct link from Apapa ports to Kaduna. The validation of the draft operational manual for inland dry ports is our focus on today's episode of The Shipper. My name is Rekia Zubairu. Welcome to the program.
The function of inland dry port is that government is supposed to move some consignments, some containers on behalf of the owner down to the inland dry port for custom processing. That's what it means. Like assuming that, okay, my bill of lading now, they say, discharge in Apapa, transit to Kaduna. What I'm supposed to do is to go and start my processing in Kaduna. I'm not supposed to start my processing here. And that's why I'm talking about multimodal systems. How will government do that? As soon as the vessel is landed, the government needs to take it through rail to that place. It's being used in a place when there is no seaport. That's the purpose of inland dry port. And basically, in most of that place, they process exports from there too. So you don't need to get to Lagos.
The dry ports are supposed to mitigate and make sure that congestion at the ports are eased out. So when you have containers coming through the seaports, some are not meant for Lagos, and that the places that is closer to their final destination, we have dry ports that are closer to those places. They are supposed to be moved so we don't have congestions in the ports where you have the sea ports.
The one in Kano, there's one in Kano, and a lot of them in everywhere. Now, how do the container get there? Sometimes it takes 3 weeks, a month for them to transport the container from here to Kano. I mean, how would the person take it? We don't. You see, back in the days, even going to Kano, nobody think about using roads. We are using rail to go to Kano and Onitsha and other things. If there's rail network everywhere, I can tell you that inland port is the best. It will help a lot.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you. Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a needle. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily lane. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting now for the port of Unanid.
The program you are watching is The Shipper. No nation's economy can grow without an efficient port system or access to one in the case of landlocked countries. This is because of ports' contributions to trading. Like seaports, dry ports are important to shipping because they help to address port congestion, among other issues. In order to ensure that inland dry ports are operational nationwide, the Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, approved a 2-day stakeholders workshop for the validation of the draft operational manual for inland dry ports in Nigeria. The workshop, which was held in Lagos, was facilitated by the Nigerian Shippers Council. Lucy Lube has more.
Director of Maritime Services Awal Suleiman said inland dry ports will stimulate Nigeria's economy. He stated that dry ports can alleviate the problems of hinterland shippers' inadequate access to the seaports and frequent congestion.
Results of the commitment of the Honorable Minister of Transportation to ensure that inland dry ports are operational nationwide has approved this validation workshop to take place in Lagos, where most of the stakeholders are to be able to attend. This project will greatly provide stimulus to the economy of the states and the country at large. It is pertinent to state that for these projects to succeed, there must be support from all stakeholders and collaboration of all. I'm happy to observe that the Ministry and Nigerian Shippers Council are leading in this drive, because the Council is already collaborating with Nigerian Railway Corporations, Nigerian Port Authority, Customs Services, and all other stakeholders to ensure full implementations of these laudable projects.
Speaking with the shipper, Mr. Suleiman urged the stakeholders to actively participate in the adoption of the operational manual and also sensitize their members so that they can understand the processes involved in the manual.
Manual that has already been vetted by a number of stakeholders need to be validated today. At the end of it, the inland dry ports would have a working document that will be guiding their own operations nationwide. And this in line with not only Nigerian set but in line with international best practices. That's what we are trying to align. Hence today's program.
Chijioke Okonkwo, a consultant with a company engaged to help develop the operational manual for inland dry ports, also spoke with the shipper. He noted that the frequent congestion at the Apapa port in particular underlines the need for the operational manual for inland dry ports.
I see a lot of benefits in our developing our inland dry ports, and the benefits do not just stand to the opportunities that are there for job creation, but also the efficiency of moving cargo in and out of Nigeria, and the part where Lagosians can breathe easy to a very large extent because of the reduced congestion on their roads. It actually also helps with the sustenance of our infrastructure, because the more the trucks use our roads, the more our roads get dilapidated. It's amazing that the Federal Ministry of Transport is already taking the initiative to build up our rail tracks. So we see signage in also developing our inland dry ports alongside the progress that is being made in the rail sector for a sustained and a lot more economic beneficial arrangement for Nigeria as a whole. So what we did was set out a process of operation for these inland dry ports in which the cargoes are received. They have to undergo the clearing as it is done within the seaports, and their owners can also claim them. Now, rather than have trucks moving all the way down to Lagos to pick up this cargo, the trucks can drive into the inland dry ports in the locations where they are and pick up this cargo with ease, reducing the time of clearance, reducing the time of being on the road, and actually ensuring that the cost of undertaking these imports and exports, as the case may be, is heavily reduced as well too. The same process applies if we want to export cargo from Nigeria. That rather than ship those cargoes or truck those cargoes to the ports in Lagos, we are talking about trucking it to the inland dry ports. It will still be inspected by the Customs Service. It will still undergo the process of export before it is either freighted from the inland dry ports that have access to rail or trucked to the seaports, and our cargo is shipped out. So we're looking at an efficient way of moving cargo in and out of Nigeria to the various locations, to every part of Nigeria where there is an inland dry port, as efficiently and as smoothly as possible. It actually makes our process a lot more efficient and is cost effective.
Shipping on the role the Nigerian Shippers Council NSC played in the workshop, Ada Okam, Director Inland Transport Services Department of the NSC, said the council is the guarantor working under the federal government of Nigeria to ensure the development of inland dry ports across the country. She noted that the NSC is working hard to ensure that the operational manual is properly implemented.
It has been the driver of everything that concerns the IDPs, that is the inland dry ports, to ensure that it is properly developed and implemented. It's been pursuing both the construction and the operational manual. Today we did the validation of the operational manual. It's been work in progress, but today we are able to review the document. A committee was set up by Nigerian Shippers Council to harmonize what has been put together. Today, what that committee has been able to distill from that report to serve as operational manual, that is the guide for the technical operations of an IDP.
Rotimi Hassan, Port General Manager, Kaduna Inland Dry Port, urged shipping companies and the Nigerian Railway Corporation to collaborate and come up with a document that will guide operators to deliver quality services.
There's need for government to do something about rail. Although the present government under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari is trying a lot about rail system.
Yemi Odunowo, Assistant Director, Marketing, Nigerian Railway Corporation, said the establishment and operationalization of the inland dry port is long overdue, adding that the activation will improve Nigeria's economy and decongest the seaports.
It's multimodal. You are taking cargo container from seaport to a dry port. So it involves customs, it involves shipping company, it involves seaport terminal operators, of course it involves railway. So all these stakeholders have to harmonize so that we have a seamless movement. You can bring your imports from the port of origin abroad without necessarily clearing against customs, without clearing them at the seaport. You just go straight to all these 7 IDPs.
Victor Nwache, Deputy Director, Inland Container Depot, Federal Ministry of Transportation, noted that although about 15 inland dry ports have been conceived, only the Kaduna Inland Dry Port is up and running.
It is going to guide the operation of all a lot of dry ports are coming up all over the country, especially in the landlocked areas. That is the states that are not open to sea. We have so many of them coming up by private owners of capital. And of course, we are proud to have this document so that it can be a driver for or provide guidelines for these dry ports.
Mr. Nambol, Assistant Director, Inland Transport Services, Department of the NSC, stated that the 2-day workshop achieved its objectives. He noted that the operational manual will guide the IDPs to operate optimally and improve the nation's economy.
We are talking about the inland dry ports. And we have one that is operational already, which is Kaduna Inland Dry Port. And when you have a facility such as that, you need to have a manual, because embedded in the manual are the procedures, the processes, the players in that will be in the facilities. So the manual serves as a guide. So it is a very important document that you need to have in place for the IDPs to operate optimally and well, and then to serve the country and improve our economy.
At the end of the 2-day workshop, stakeholders came up with 9 resolutions, amongst them the inclusion of fire service station in the dry port layout and design flow chart of the manual, provision of designated areas for dangerous cargoes in line with international best practice, the inclusion of a buffer zone in future dry port designs.
Should be reviewed every 3 years to meet up with the current trends in the industry. That there is need for the provision of special handling equipment and training of personnel for the handling of dangerous goods at the IDPs in line with international best practice. This is what we were able to capture. The 2-day validation workshop was organized to enable stakeholders look at the reviewed operational manual, make comments, observations, and recommendations for adoption of the document as a workable manual for operations of the IDPs in line with international best practice.
The final draft of the operational manual for inland dry ports is expected to be submitted to the Minister of Transportation for approval. The approval will set the stage for smoother operations at the nation's dry ports.
Shippers Council will continue to work to deliver more inland dry ports around the country. There is a lot more going on around in the maritime world. Over to you, Abike, and welcome back. It's good to see you, and I hope you had a restful break.
Thank you so much, Rekia. I sure had a restful break, and it's nice to be back. Welcome to another exciting episode of your favorite maritime program, The Shipper. I am Abike Ido, taking you through the Titbit segments. The Director, Northeast Zone of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Alhaji Abubakar Bashir, inspected the Yobe Truck Transit Park, TTP, which is under construction in Potiskum, Yobe State. The TTP, now known as Vehicle Transit Areas, VTA, while serving as resting areas for truck drivers, will reduce pilferage and theft of cargoes, and also afford cargo owners the means to monitor the movement of cargoes through a cargo tracking system, which will be located in each of the VTAs. The Director was accompanied by a team of Shippers Council staff after attending a meeting with the interim executives of Yobe State Shippers Association, YSSA. The meeting deliberated on registration of YSSA with Corporate Affairs Commission, its inauguration by Shippers Council, amongst other issues. And now, our complaint register for the week. A total number of 4 complaints were received. 1 has been resolved and 3 are ongoing investigations. The complaints include delayed transfer of cargo manifest, delayed cargo, and delay on refund payments. As always, the Council gets commendation for its interventions in various cases. Here is a letter of appreciation from Jeje Ibrahim of Bizinalin Global Service Limited, whose container was wrongly detained. We sure are glad that he was able to retrieve the containers carrying goods worth 7.6 million naira. What a gargantuan loss that might have been. Finally, global maritime news. An Indian seafarer on board the MSC bulker Anastasia, which has been attempting crew change plans since June 2020, attempted suicide in desperation over his inability to return home to his family in India. This heavy collateral damage was caused by the protracted trade war between India and China, rendering 39 Indian seafarers stranded in Chinese waters for several months. The 47-year-old seafarer, whose time on board had extended from 5 months in his contract to 13 months, had been desperately trying since December to get permission to go to his family. In despair, he was driven to slash his wrist after he was refused permission to return to India to tend to his ailing wife and 2 sons who have been diagnosed with COVID-19. His life was, however, saved in the nick of time by the ship's navigation officer. It sure has been a horror period for 2 bulk cargo vessels, the Anastasia, owned by Mediterranean Shipping Company, MSC, and the Jag Anand, owned by India's Great Eastern Shipping Company, which have been at anchorage at Kaohsiung and Jingtan ports for months. MSC has repeatedly requested that the seafarers on board should be relieved to return home to their families, a company spokesperson said. Unfortunately, these proposals have not yet been implemented by the chartering parties, which determine the ship's movement. In other news, Baysport is launching a new service that has been custom-made to the requirements of deep-sea vessels' demand. It is established under the name Baysport Sea. Yes, the spelling is correct. That is S-E-E-A with 2 E's. Seamen working for months at a time are experiencing challenging times. Case in point, the man who attempted suicide on Anastasia, and COVID-19 is adding to the burden. For ship owners and managers, it is a challenge to create the best working environments aboard their vessels. An entertainment system with an at-home user experience sure is a boost for the crew. Baysport C also allows for cloud publishing of text, pictures, and videos. This way, the crew is updated on safety training and general information. But wait, there is more. Shell has signed agreements to charter 10 new very large crude carriers, VLCC, in deals, which will mean that come 2023, 50% of its time-chartered crude oil tanker fleets will be powered by dual-fuel LNG engines. All 10 of the vessels will be built in South Korea by Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering Company Limited, with 4 ships from Advantage Tanker, 3 from American Eagle Tankers, and 3 from International Seaways. The first vessel will enter service in 2022 on a 7-year charter to Shell. Today and for the foreseeable future, LNG is the choice for new builds to ensure we are not adding heavier emitters into the global fleet while we work hard at developing zero-emission fuels, said Graham Anderson, Global Head of Shell Shipping and Maritime. Shell is also working to make LNG available as fuel in more ports around the world ahead of an expected increase in demand for the LNG as a marine fuel. And that's it on this week's Tidbit.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
This is where we drop the anchor on today's episode of The Shipper, brought to you by Nigeria's Port Economic Regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council. Have a swimmingly great week ahead. Bye for now.